Well, we've been hearing a lot in the last couple of years about foreign involvement in American elections. Well, this has been going on since the 1920s, the 30s, through the communist movement, etc. But I'm going to talk tonight about an organisation that has never really got any public attention, but it is interfering in American politics, and it does have communist roots. So I want to show you a little photograph here. This is from June 2021, very recent, and it's an older gentleman with Tiffany Caban. Now, she is a member of Democratic Socialists of America, a Marxist, and she's now a New York City councilwoman. Here's another photograph of the same elderly gentleman. This time he has a picture of Rosa Luxemburg behind him, the famous German revolutionary of the 1920s. The gentleman is standing with a group that includes Shawn Levin. He's a member of the staff of Democratic Socialists of America Congresswoman Cori Bush from Missouri. There's Adrian Salazar from the Grassroots Global Justice Alliance. That's a Front for Liberation Road, a pro-Chinese Communist Party. And here's Kate Aronoff, a left-wing journalist for the New Republic. So just who is this elderly gentleman and what is his significance? Well, here's a photograph from 1989. This man, Gregor Gysi, was at the time the last leader of the East German Communist Party. When communism fell in East Germany, Gregor Gysi took the reins of the Socialist Unity Party, the East German Communist Party. He never became the leader of the East German state, but he became the leader of that particular party. Gregor Gysi was a lawyer and was on the moderate wing of the East German Communist Party, if there was such a thing. But the East German Communist Party, as you know, was responsible for the Berlin Wall, thousands of deaths, torture, intimidation, massive spying by their secret police, the Stasi, etc., a totalitarian regime. And Gregor Gysi, as many former members of the party, has been credibly accused of spying for the Stasi on fellow East German citizens. The party loyally supported the Soviet Union right up till the end. So what is a leader of the old Socialist Unity Party doing hanging around with New York activists and politicians? Well, after the collapse of East Germany, the old Socialist Unity Party, the Communist Party, changed its name to the Party of Democratic Socialism. Then it changed its name again to a new name, Die Linke, the Left Party. It's now the fifth biggest party in the German parliament. It gets about anything between 10 and 15% of the vote, depending on the area and the election. Now, Gregor Gysi became the leader of the Party of Democratic Socialism for many years, and he's also a very highly placed leader of Die Linke. He's sort of the party's elder statesman, a very popular figure. Now, while the Die Linke calls itself a democratic and etc. and party of democratic socialism, it is communist. There's openly communist factions within it, and up until recently it has been a major target of the German intelligence services. Die Linke also has a foundation, and it's funded by the German taxpayer. If you're in parliament in Germany, you get a lot of money. You can set up a foundation in your name. Now, Die Linke set up the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation in Berlin. It has offices in about 20 countries across the world, from Latin America to Africa, South Africa, North Africa, certain countries in Europe, communist Vietnam, in communist China, in Beijing, and also in Moscow. So it has this network, and it also has the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung in Madison Avenue, New York. So this East German Communist Party, this reincarnation of the East German Communist Party, actually has an office in downtown Manhattan. So what would they want that for, do you think? They want the office because they're still in the revolution business. And the office in Manhattan is where they coordinate with the United Nations, they're very strong there, and also with North American, with United States and Canadian communists. They're trying to build the communist revolution in America.
IC is part of the international network of the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation. In New York City, our main tasks are, number one, working on issues having to do with the United Nations, and number two, working with United States and Canadian progressives, supporting their work and building bridges between the left on both sides of the Atlantic.
So these former East German communists are actually working in the United States to influence American domestic politics. Gregor Gysi is very heavily involved to this day with the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation, which is almost certainly why he was in New York. The Rosa Luxemburg Foundation and its branches like the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung in New York are led by virtually all by Die Linke people, many of them former members of the East German Communist Party. Prominent amongst those are the Brie brothers, Andre and Michael. They're both heavily involved in the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation, both Die Linke members and both very prominent members of the former East German Communist Party. They were communist royalty. Their father, Horst Brie, was a long-time German communist who ended up becoming the East German Communist ambassador to the Communist People's Republic of China. So they were very well born in communist country, very well born. They were sort of communist princelings. Both sons, Michael and Andre, have been named as Stasi informants, informing on foreign students working in East Germany, colleagues and friends. So this is pretty much standard practice. If you're a prominent East German communist, you are pretty much working with the Stasi, with the secret police. And they have had a lot of grief over the years as these revelations have kept coming out. But the left party, the Die Linke, doesn't kick them out of the party, because if they did that, they'd probably have to kick out many of their senior leadership. It's a Stasi party. Die Linke, in common with their ally Podemos, a similar communist party in Spain, and Syriza in Greece, are three of the most pro-Russian modern European communist parties. You know, this is the age of Putin, the age of united Russia, when the Communist Party of Russia is supposedly the opposition in the Russian Duma. But many European communists still look to the old Soviet Union for guidance. They still look to Moscow, they still look to Russia, they still look to Putin. So this myth that when Putin took over Russia, that European communists turned their back on Russia is just that. It's a fallacy, it's a myth. Now, Andre Brie, one of the Brie brothers, actually represents Die Linke on the steering committee of the German-Russian Petersburg Dialogue. Now, this is a group set up to firm up relations between Germany and Russia, to build links between Germany and Russia. It was set up by Putin himself, Vladimir Putin, and Gerhard Schroeder, the very left-wing former Chancellor of Germany, the man who led towards Russia. He believed in East politics, orientating Germany towards Russia. And so Andre Brie is a very key part of this mechanism, so which is another one of the pro-Russia links that Die Linke doesn't like to talk about publicly. Incidentally, back in 1994, Andre Brie visited Chicago for the founding of the Committees of Correspondence, a breakaway group from the Communist Party USA. Angela Davis was there. Congressman Danny Davis, a long-time communist supporter, was there. A leader of the South African Communist Party. People from the Cuban Communist Party were there. And Mr. Brie, Comrade Brie, was there representing the Party for Democratic Socialism, now known as Die Linke. So they were involved in US politics right back into the 90s. Now, the actual Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung was established in 2012 and immediately started working with US communists, right from the start. In 2013, It actually convened a meeting in Manhattan with representatives of Communist Party USA, Democratic Socialists of America, the Committees of Correspondence, the breakaway from the Communist Party USA, and what was then known as the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, now known as Liberation Road. And Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung was trying to get these 4 American communist groups to unite, to become one United American Communist Party. So they were very, they were trying to influence American politics. Here's a picture from 2013 of Maria Svart, the head of Democratic Socialists of America, at the Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung. DSA was involved right from the start. The Rosa Luxemburg Stiftung has always had German leadership. Stephanie Emsem, Albert Scharenberg, both Die Linke members. The current leader of the organization is Andreas Gunther, and he was previously Die Linke's head of the Department of International Policy.